Hello, everyone. I'm Abram, your Chief of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging. And I just want to welcome you all back to school. And for those of you who are new to Berkeley Public Health, I really lovingly am excited that you are here and with us this year. And hopefully you will enjoy all things that you have to experience. I just kind of wanted to give you all a brief video welcome message and let you know about the theme that I have been thinking of for this year. Um, Building a culture that cares for and nurtures those who have been historically invisibilized and or absent from our community. A mentor of mine gave me that question a few weeks ago, and it just stood out and it's so poignant to me that I felt like it would be a great theme for us to hold this year. Early in the summer, I attended the Association of Schools and Programs of Public Health, or ASPPH, their sections retreat in June. It's where I spent all of my time in the diversity sessions led by and with other public health diversity leaders. And at some point, we discussed the difference between being an ally, an accomplice, and co-conspirator in diversity, equity, and inclusion work in an effort to build anti-racist environment. The conversation, of course, veered us into the topic of taking risks as a diversity, race, and equity leader. So I immediately thought back to the training that I attended all of last year, because in each training, we were essentially confronting what risks we were willing to take in our quest for equity, anti-racism, and belonging. So I took a moment at that time to write down a few things that came up for me. Now let's just take a pause. This past Monday, August 22nd, a friend sent me a clip of Dr. Yaba as she was a guest on the Defining Blackness, How Racism Divides Black Communities, the Beyond the Scenes with Roy Wood Jr. It was a segment on that show. Their conversation went in many directions, and yet the piece related to former President Barack Obama and current Vice President Kamala Harris stood out to me and is something I wrestle with as a Black person and as part of my chief diversity role, or as my chief diversity role. Dr. Blade pointed out, and I quote, "They even have to perform a particular level of anti-Blackness just so white folks can trust them," end quote. I had to stop and take a breath because I needed to sit with that statement. She highlighted that to move around the culture that I exist in means limiting the risks and yielding to some form of comfort. The current environment we have forces us to continuously socially move between being an ally, an accomplice, or co-conspirator for our success and survival. So let me say that again because I bumbled. The current environment we have forces us to continuously socially move between being an ally, accomplice, or co-conspirator for our success and survival. However, what if I have a false sense of comfort? Faced with that question, I pulled out my notes from the June ASPPH retreat and I read what I penned. And so this part I just want to share with everyone. It might feel hard and uncomfortable, but I feel like that's the place where we have to be if we're going to grow. And so this is what I wrote in June. I am expected or required, really, I'm really just required to be the ally, to be the accomplice, to be the co-conspirator, and yet many refuse to even be my ally. I ask, what are the risks? What are they risking? Because I am risking so much each and every day as an individual and as a chief of diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. Every day I'm risking my mental health, my physical health, my safety and security, my self-worth and self-esteem, my status in higher education, constantly being on the cusp of being blackballed in my field, my emotional health, my family, my friends. my validity, my reputation, my credibility, my authenticity. Every day, I risk those things. And this year, I want Berkeley Public Health to continuously reflect on the risks we are willing to take to answer the question, what can we build that cares for and nurtures those who have been historically invisibilized and or absent from our community? So I welcome all of the new folks. I welcome everyone who is returning and coming back from a restful summer. I encourage us in all of our moments where we feel comfortable, where we feel uncomfortable, to step back and take a risk so that we can be co-conspirators, accomplices, or allies in any way, shape, or facet or form for all of those in our community who have been invisibilized and or absent. Let's create that culture that nurtures and cares for them. So I wish you all a wonderful year, and I encourage you to join me this fall for some of my check-ins. I encourage you to look at our anti-racism website. And for those of you who are of the LGBTQ plus community, please join or review our outlist. See you all soon.